My name is Amir, and before you judge anyone who goes abroad to earn money, listen to my story. People only see the success. They never see the pain that came before it. There was a time when I couldn't even buy a single loaf of bread for my children. I still remember one evening when I walked home after another failed job interview. My pockets were empty, but my heart was even emptier. As soon as I entered our tiny house, I remember watching my son run toward me. He had the biggest smile. Then it just vanished. Papa, did you bring food today? I couldn't answer him. I simply looked down. Because a father can survive hunger, but he can never survive seeing disappointment in his child's eyes. My wife quietly took the children into the other room so they wouldn't see the tears rolling down my face. That night, she mixed flour with extra water just to make it look like there was enough food for everyone. She told me she wasn't hungry, but I knew she hadn't eaten properly for 2 days. My old mother smiled and said our neighbor had already fed her. Later, I found her drinking plain water to silence her empty stomach. That was the night I realized poverty doesn't only steal money. It steals dignity. For months, I searched everywhere for work. Offices, warehouses, shops, factories, everywhere I went, I heard the same sentence. We'll call you.
Oh no.
But nobody ever called. Then one afternoon, a man in our village told me about a recruitment agent who could send people to Dubai as drivers. He promised a good salary, free accommodation, overtime, and a better future. It sounded like the answer to every prayer I had ever made. The only problem was the money. The agent demanded a huge processing fee. I borrowed from relatives who reminded me every day that I was becoming a burden. I borrowed from friends who smiled to my face but laughed behind my back. Finally, my wife removed the only gold jewelry she owned, our wedding bangles, and placed them in my hands. She looked into my eyes and said, "Go. Don't think about us. Just come back alive." The day I left Pakistan, my children hugged me so tightly that I almost cancelled everything. My mother kissed my forehead and whispered, "Allah will protect you." As the airplane lifted into the sky, I wasn't chasing wealth. I was running away from hunger. But I had no idea that my biggest struggle was waiting for me after landing in Dubai. The smiling company representative welcomed me at the airport, took my passport, and said it was only for visa processing. I trusted him. That was the biggest mistake of my life. Instead of taking me to the company accommodation I had been promised, they drove me to an overcrowded labor camp, where 12 exhausted men shared one tiny room. The next morning, I asked when I would start my driver job. The supervisor laughed. Then he threw a new contract onto the table. It wasn't for a driver. It was for a low-paying labor job with a salary less than half of what I had been promised. When I refused to sign, he looked me in the eyes and said, "You have no passport, no money, and no way home." At that moment, I realized I hadn't come to Dubai chasing a dream. I had walked straight into a trap. But what happened next nearly destroyed not only my life, but also my family's faith in me. If you've ever thought that earning money abroad is easy, let me tell you something. The hardest part isn't the work. It's carrying the weight of your family's hopes while your own heart is breaking. The morning after I reached the labor camp, reality hit me like a storm. The room smelled of sweat and dust. 12 men slept on rusty bunk beds. Some had been there for years, and when they looked at me, they didn't see a new worker. They saw another dream that had been crushed. I argued with the supervisor, telling him I had come to Dubai as a driver, not as a laborer. He smiled without any sympathy and pointed toward the office. Your passport is with the company. If you don't like the job, buy your own ticket home. How could I? Every rupee my family had owned had already been spent. Going back wasn't an option. My children were waiting for money, not excuses. So I signed. Not because I wanted to, because I had no choice. Every day began before sunrise. We worked under the burning desert sun for 12 to 14 hours. My hands became covered with blisters, my back ached constantly, and every night I fell asleep without the strength to even speak. The salary they had promised never came. The company kept saying, "Next month." That next month never seemed to arrive. The hardest moments came when I called home. My wife tried to sound cheerful, but I could hear the fear hidden behind her voice. Our landlord came again today. He said if we don't pay the rent this week, he'll throw us out. A few seconds later, my daughter took the phone.
Papa!
When are you coming home? Mama cries every night. I couldn't answer.
Yeah.
I simply muted the phone and cried in silence. Then things became even worse. The relatives who had once promised to help started avoiding my family. It was a harsh realization. Some told my wife, "Your husband probably lied about going to Dubai." They mocked her, saying, "If he really had a good job, why hasn't he sent any money?" Poverty doesn't only empty your pockets. It reveals who truly stands beside you. One Friday, after nearly 3 months without proper pay, I gathered the courage to demand my salary. Instead of paying me, the supervisor shouted at me in front of everyone. "If you don't like it here, get out!" That night, I sat alone outside the labor camp, staring at the city lights. Luxury cars drove past, glittering skyscrapers touched the sky, and tourists laughed as if life had never hurt them. Meanwhile, I had only 30 dirhams in my pocket. I honestly thought about disappearing. For the first time in my life, I questioned whether my family would be better off without me. Just then, my phone rang. It was my son. His tiny voice said something that stopped me from making the biggest mistake of my life.
Papa!
My teacher asked us to write about our hero. He paused for a moment before saying, "I wrote your name." At that moment, I broke down completely. I promised myself that no matter how many times life knocked me down, I would stand up again for my children. But I still had no idea that Allah was about to send someone into my life, someone who would change my destiny forever. Was this stranger my way out of the darkness? Or just another person waiting to cheat me? The morning after my son called me his hero, I wiped away my tears and returned to work with a different mindset. I told myself, if I can survive this, nothing in life will ever break me again.
A few weeks later, while unloading construction materials, an elderly Pakistani man watched me helping another worker whose back had been injured.
Son, what job did you come here for? I told him everything, the fake recruitment. Years passed. With my savings and the trust of people who believed in my work, I bought my first used delivery van. Then another. Then another. Slowly, that single vehicle grew into a small transport business. I came here with nothing, just a dream. Now, I employ drivers from all across the region. Whenever I hired someone, I made one promise to myself. No worker under my company would ever be treated the way I had been treated. Eventually, I returned to my village after many years. The streets were the same. The houses were the same. But the people, they had changed. The relatives who once refused to lend my family money now welcomed me with smiles. Friends who had ignored my phone calls proudly introduced me to others as their old friend. People who once mocked my wife suddenly praised her patience and strength. I smiled at them, not because I had forgotten the past, but because carrying hatred is another kind of poverty. That evening, I stood outside the same small house where my children had once cried from hunger. I looked at my mother, now smiling peacefully, my wife, whose sacrifices had built our future, and my children, who were studying without fear of missing another meal. Then I realized something. Success doesn't erase your scars. It reminds you why they were worth surviving. So if you're unemployed today, if your pockets are empty, if people laugh at your dreams or abandon you during your darkest days, don't let their opinions become your future. Work with honesty, protect your dignity, trust Allah, and never stop moving forward. Because the people who ignore you when you're struggling may be the same people standing in line to shake your hand when you succeed. I may be struggling now, but remember, every seed of an idea holds the potential for great growth. Today's hungry child may become tomorrow's inspiration. And the tears you cry in silence today may become the foundation of the success everyone applauds tomorrow. This wasn't just my story. It could be the story of anyone who refuses to give up. If you're unemployed today, don't lose hope. If your family is struggling, don't surrender. Every successful person has a chapter filled with pain that the world never sees. Stay patient, work with honesty, trust Allah, and remember, your current situation is not your final destination. The world respects your success, but only Allah knows the tears, sacrifices, and sleepless nights that built it. So never laugh at someone's struggle. One day, their story may inspire the world. In the end, I want to request you to, if you like my story, please subscribe, like, and share. Also, give your valuable comments. Thank you for watching.